Okay, so let's dive into something pretty special. You've got Linus Tech Tips building a computer for, get this, the creator of Linux himself, Linus Torvalds. I mean, this is a super rare chance to really get inside the mind of one of the most important people in tech today.
And right off the bat, we get this kind of wild admission. Someone hands him his own autobiography, right, from 25 years ago. And he just casually says, I actually don't remember what I wrote. I mean, wow. It just makes you think, okay, who is the Linus Torvalds of today? And hey, that's exactly what we're here to figure out. We're going to use this whole PC build as a way to see what he's really thinking. You know, his core philosophies, his totally unfiltered opinions, basically the mindset of this tech legend right here, right now. So here's how we're going to break it down. We'll look at the two Linuses meeting up, then how his whole philosophy shows up in the computer parts. After that, we'll get into Linux, Git, and his legacy. Then some awesome rapid-fire takes on tech, and finally, we'll see a bit about his life outside of coding.
All right, first things first, the main event. You've got Linus Torvalds, who, by the way, jokingly calls himself the real one, teaming up with Linus Sebastian, aka the fake Linus, to build his dream workstation. But look, while they're literally putting together this beast of a PC, that's kind of just the stage. The real story, the good stuff, is in the conversations they're having while doing it. This is where you see the principles that have guided him for, like, decades.
Okay, so let's get into the hardware, because for Torvalds, picking a component isn't just about getting the best benchmark. No, it's a direct reflection of his worldview, of how he thinks things should work. And let's start with the memory, because on this one thing, Torvalds had one absolute non-negotiable rule, and man, does it tell you everything you need to know about his priorities. So, why is he so passionate about this? Well, it comes from a really painful experience. He once wasted days chasing what he thought was a software bug. Turns out it was a hardware memory error all along. Can you imagine the frustration? That's exactly why he insists on end-to-end error-correcting memory. For him, being able to trust your data isn't just a feature, it's the absolute foundation of everything. So the big takeaway here is this. A computer's #1 job before speed, before anything else, is to be trustworthy. He's totally convinced that tons of software crashes that you or I might have had were actually bad hardware, and his entire way of working is built around avoiding that nightmare. All right, next up, the cooling system. And you're going to see that exact same philosophy pop up again here. It's all about simplicity and dependability, not chasing whatever's new and flashy. You see, he just wants a quiet, predictable machine. That's it. And to him, that annoying, gurgling sound a water cooler can make, or worse, the chance of a leak, that's just adding complexity and new ways for things to break. And that is exactly what he tries to avoid. And boom, there it is, his second core principle in a nutshell. Always, always go for the simple, elegant solution that just works. I mean, why would you add a complicated system with more stuff that can break when a simpler one gets the job done more reliably? It's a question you see him applying to, well, pretty much everything he does. Speaking of everything he does, that same philosophy totally applies to his two world-changing creations, Linux and Git. Now, this guy is the father of two projects that literally built entire industries, right? But what's fascinating is how differently he feels about them. He draws a really sharp line in the sand. Linux, that's his child. It's his life's work. But Git, that was just a tool. A really, really smart tool that he built because he was frustrated, sure. But he only worked on it for about 6 months and then was totally happy to pass it on. He's proud of it, yeah. But it's just not the same thing to him. And this is my favorite part. His take on other people making billions of dollars off his work. He doesn't see a dime of that. And does he care? Not one bit. He sees it as the ultimate proof that he won. It's validation that what he made was so important, so fundamental, that whole ecosystems could spring up on top of it. I mean, that's just an amazing perspective. Okay, so moving on from his own projects, the conversation also got into some, let's just say, very candid, very unfiltered opinions. When they asked him about the biggest things happening in tech right now, well, he did not hold back. And of course, first up, they had to ask about the hottest topic on the planet. AI. Is it a bubble? A revolution? What's his take? And his answer is, well, it's perfectly nuanced. He says it's clearly both. He thinks AI is a genuinely useful tool, something that's for sure going to change society.
But he calls the marketing and the hype around it sick and twisted and says there's definitely going to be a crash. So the technology is real, but the bubble, that's real too, and it's going to pop.
Okay, next question. What about that really controversial idea of judging a programmer by how many lines of code they write? You know, the metric some companies have even used for firing people?
Wow. I mean, you can't get much more blunt than that, can you? For him, it's not just a bad metric. It's a sign of pure incompetence. It just totally misses the whole point of what programming is. It's not about typing a lot. It's about solving problems elegantly. Quality over quantity, every single time. All right, so let's zoom out a bit and talk about the man himself. I mean, after more than 30 years running one of the most important projects on the planet, what's his take on work, on stress, on this whole incredible journey? And what he says might actually surprise you. He says his work isn't the stressful part. Why? Because tech problems can always be fixed. There's a solution. You can debug it. His real source of stress? It's people. Because, you can't really debug human interactions the same way you can debug code.
And that brings us to the final big question. The ultimate what if. Looking back on this whole thing, on his entire life's work, would he do anything differently? Any regrets at all?
And his answer is just perfect. It's such a powerful summary of his entire career. He admits he was lucky that he was maybe a little naive to even start the project in the first place, but in the end, he wouldn't change a single thing. It's just this incredible statement of pure satisfaction, a journey that didn't just change the world, but one that he actually genuinely enjoyed. I mean, what more could any creator ever ask for?